Welcome to the Mercy Music Podcast. We're here with Zaire Smith. Thank you for being here today. Zaire, yes, round of applause. We'll put that in post. Zaire is a wonderful singer, producer, many, many more things. You're also the night and weekend manager here. You've been you've been our longest running,
yes,
I believe.
Okay.
What year did you start that?
2020, the fall of 2022.
2022. Okay. Yeah, so you're the longest running. I think you are. You're in grad school. We'll talk about all of this. I want to hear about this whole journey. But what was the original? I want to know. Take me back to the original bug. Like, what set you off on I want to do this music thing?
Just music.
Just
general,
music.
Or?
We'll get to production, but just music. Like, what was young Zaire's musical bug? Like, what had to be something.
It's really hard to pinpoint one specific thing. I always grew up around music. I actually wanted to be an actor first.
We're 10 seconds in. I'm learning something. This is great. Wanted to be an actor.
So when I was in elementary school, I went to a performing arts.
Okay.
It was original. It was a regular elementary school. Then it turned into a performing arts school by my fourth grade year, and we had to take drama class, dance class, instrumental music, vocal. It was just all over the place. And I got really into the theatrical and acting thing. When I was in middle school, I was in production, musicals, and plays. I was really into that.
What was your favorite production you were in at that time?
I did two. I did two. My favorite one was probably my freshman year. I mean, not my freshman year. My sixth grade year in middle school, which we did High School Musical Junior.
Okay, cool. That's fun. That's cool.
So that was pretty cool. And
so you were singing in that right away.
I was singing too, but we were acting.
Yeah,
so
that's amazing.
I still liked music, but
so was singing. Did you wanted to act? So was singing just actors sing sometimes?
No, I had a love for music and I had a love for singing, but I don't think it was I want to be an artist just yet.
Okay.
But it was more I can do this. This is cool, and I was really more into the acting and that performative part of just entertainment. And then when I had hit high school, I think just because of the culture of my high school, and I think I got a little older, I started getting my mother put me on to a lot of music. I grew up listening to old school R&B and soul and gospel and hip hop. So I was really already embedded with that type of stuff in me. And then when I got to high school, I think I started to venture it out for myself. Started looking up certain artists and digging into their archives and trying to sing their songs. And I was like, oh, maybe I can do something like this. I would put on mini performances by myself, just practicing songs over and over again, printing out lyric sheets, just trying to get to a certain point and singing and performing as a 10, 11, 12-year-old. I was 15 in high school. And that was the beginning of music,
Are you playing any instruments at that time or really just focusing on singing?
I started the piano. I kind of taught myself how to play the piano through YouTube.
Nice.
I remember in middle school, I learned just notes. So we learned C, D, E, F, G, A, whatever. And then I think from there, once I knew where it was on the keyboard, I was gifted a keyboard for Christmas one year, and I wrote on the keyboard the notes.
Yes.
Just so I can memorize where it was. And then I would look up on YouTube songs that were popular during the time and my favorite songs, things like that. And I would just, they would be put your hand on D, C, whatever, and make a chord. I didn't know I was making chords yet. I didn't know what that was.
And I was going to say, you didn't know you were doing homework at that time.
Basically.
You were doing already projects, right?
Yeah.
That love of music,
you
were just, that love of it was creating your career later, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And were you singing at church? Were you singing
Yeah.
Okay,
so I grew
from
up.
what age do you sing in church? Obviously,
probably,
as a member of the church, you're singing probably, but in the choir.
Yeah, I grew up singing in choir. I probably when I was as far as I can remember, I was probably 7.
So wow, so early.
7 7 years old. singing in like the church choir and stuff like that, and different choruses and stuff throughout high school. I mean,
at the high school,
elementary and middle school,
in
high
school. So that's amazing.
So
you're singing 7 days a week. You're singing.
Yeah, I, not as much as I do now, but I was singing.
You sing a lot now too.
I was singing. I was singing, starting to sing and things like that from like elementary through high school. But yeah, like growing up at church, I was singing, on Sundays and things like that, and we would do stuff at home where my mother would make me sing a song.
Oh yeah,
she'd be like, "Can you sing this song and let me hear how you sound?" And
did she play anything too, or did she sing?
She would just
music?
We would listen to stuff on the radio, or if there was a song that played on and that she really liked, she would be like, "Could you learn this?" And I would be like, She was already kind of like preparing me in a way, because she had a love for music, and like my whole family sang. So it was already embedded. Music and stuff like that was already embedded. So
she was the first producer you worked for.
I guess I guess you can say that. Yeah, because she would make me learn stuff, and I would be like, I don't want to do this, but like she would make me sing it and perform it and stuff like that as a kid too. I remember that actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a foundation to what you do now, right? I mean, you're probably thankful for that.
I am very thankful.
And then, obviously you went here for university, and did you transfer here, or did you start here like a year? You started here, right? And what, so you're in Kentucky at the time, right? So what brings you? You must have looked at a couple different places. There's no way you just looked at New York.
Yeah,
Mercy. This is the Mercy podcast. Great. But,
right.
But at that time, what kind of led you here? What led you specifically to here?
So when it came to as you said, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm not from New York. From down Midwest South of the United States of America. I always wanted to live in New York. That's the first thing. Growing up, I have an uncle and aunt and cousins that live here. So growing up, we would come and visit, or they would come and visit in Kentucky, and I just always wanted to go back with them, always. And then every time I would come here, I just always had like a good experience. And I just knew, like, from when I was like 9, I was like, I always talked about New York. If you ask anybody, ask my family, they always be like, you always talking about New York. So
not a shock to your family that you're here.
No, not at all. Not at all. So when I hit high school and I was like probably a junior in high school, and college started to come up in conversations, I was like, well, I want to live in New York. I want to go there. So I'm just going to find a school there. And then that would be my ticket there.
Yeah.
So I was a junior. I was like 16 years old, and I was looking up schools in New York. Obviously, New York, I'm thinking more like city. And I think I came across like a couple of schools. It wasn't that many, actually, that I found that I was to my liking for what I wanted to do. Because by that time, I didn't really want to go into the theatrical part of music anymore. I wanted to do more like performance, the production side, and kind of go into that side of the music. So I was just looking up different schools. There was like a couple other schools, and then I literally came across a video on, I think when I looked up music programs in New York, I came across a video on Google of the music program here, and you were in it, and it was like an older video, and it had Paul Steinman in it, and it was just talking about the program here and the studio, and
this was like 17, 18, somewhere around
there. I was like 16 going on like 17 probably.
Oh, but it would have been 2017, 2018.
Yeah, it was around that time, 2016, 2017. It was like 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, the year before my senior year.
Right, okay.
So I was looking before my senior year. I was already like kind of spot on where I wanted to kind of like
I didn't do that.
Go. I mean, no. I was ready. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
And I found this school. I found Mercy, and I was like, I think that might be a cool school. And at first, if I be honest, I wasn't too like interested in the production.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that actually.
That wasn't, like I said, I was more like just kind of like into like the performance art of it, but not like the musical theater, part of it. But I saw that was the structure here, and I was like, okay, I think this is going to be good for me because I want to learn how to record myself as someone who wants to be an artist, who wants to make music.
It was as college, university, that was the kind of the moment of music technology, music production. Like, did you record yourself before? Or
no, at that time I was just doing stuff on my phone. I think there was I forgot the websites during that time. It wasn't BandLab. Well, it might be BandLab. BandLab was probably one of them. And then I had GarageBand.
Yeah.
And pre-sounds.
Oh, the Studio One pre-Sonos?
Studio One. My grandfather had that.
Yeah.
I wasn't, at that time, I wasn't really into it, so I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what a DAW was. Yeah. But I knew that it was a program, a software that you could record music in.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't record it ever until I went to college either. I had friends that did it. It never interested me. I was playing in bands and stuff, so I didn't. I recorded twice, I think, before I got here. Okay. And then I was like, I guess we got to figure this out.
Yeah,
I mean, but and then I know you, because you do produce and you use the technology now, so you must have kind of got interested in it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then, so then you're here, you're in school, you're doing that. I don't want to gloss over anything before we have other questions, but you're singing here as well. You're singing with help. You're singing with your own stuff. You're an artist. You sing on lots of people's tracks. Yeah, lots of people. You've done backgrounds for me. Even you've done some stuff for me. But I mean, like everybody's track had you on. I feel like so many people. Singing a lot of tracks. You just dropped a new single, right?
I did.
Tell us where we can find that.
Oh, it's on our platforms. So it's Zaire West, Z-I West. Take Joy on all platforms.
And we'll link to
Please
that.
Go check it.
We will link to that. It's a wonderful song. That's your first under this new kind of Speak on that. Yeah.
So I've released music before it was under my name. It just had like an apostrophe on the A. I have probably like 5 songs out under that name, and I just kind of rebranded myself. Just shaped everything over the past like two years, and I decided to change my name.
A lot of artists do that. Sometimes you need to do that. Yeah. So I support it.
Thanks.
What's next with that mission, with that artist?
Well, it's more to come. Like this is just the beginning. Like I have another song that I'm working on that I'm holding myself to put out before like the end of the semester, like around May, April. Just trying to put out as much as I can. So my new sound is more so like Christian R&B. It's R&B, like the music is, the stylistic of it is R&B and, hip hop or Afrobeat and whatever. But like I would say the messages and stuff that I will be talking about, it will be Christ inspired. But I'm a person that just loves to sing, and regardless of whatever the song is and whatever it's about, I just love to sing.
Yeah. How do you maintain? So I sing obviously, but you're a much better singer. So, do you go through vocal? Like, take us through your vocal warm-ups. Do you do like warm-ups? How do you take care of your voice? Because you sing like a lot. I see you sing with a lot of different groups. You're singing on your own stuff. You're singing at church. How do you maintain that week by week?
I would say definitely taking care of my voice. There's somebody who helps me out with that a lot. His name is Zaire Smith. He actually went here to Mercy. He's been like a mentor with me on that, and he's a singer himself, so he's really been someone who's kind of like helped me. He's like the music director at our church, and as far as like with the music team and the singers, and he's one of the persons who I would say who's definitely guided me in the direction of where I am vocally. Because just growing up, I was just taught to just sing, and it never came to my mind to like, oh, you got to take care of your voice. You don't need to drink this before. You don't eat no ice cream. You need to drink tea. You need to warm up. All of these different things. Take care of your voice after you sing. All those different things definitely played a part. But he was someone who has been helping me on that journey over the past like several years. But it's just like once I started to get the knowledge of why it's important to take care of your voice as a singer or someone who sings multiple times during the week, and singing music that requires a lot of power, because gospel music requires a lot of power, stylistically, vocally. So it's just something that I learned, and it was just embedded. It has been embedded in me now to just one, to take care of my voice. So when I do sing other styles of music, it's easier for me to navigate it because I already have a foundation of what to do and how to train my voice, and not to do too much before I sing, and things like that.
And I'm always interested in the singers that sing as much as you do, because you're singing, what's today? Today's a Thursday, but it's like you may sing on a Thursday, but then you got to sing again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So being able to take care of that and not overdo it. There's some singers that like they overdo it and then they can't sing for a week, right? And then
I had to learn that.
You had to learn that, yeah. So if you're talking to, let's say, one of our first year students, is a singer, what's the first thing they should do, like to get that regiment going as a vocalist? If anything comes to mind, I mean, it's a hard question. But.
I mean, I would say definitely talk to somebody. But YouTube helps. Like,
So
there's a lot of people on YouTube who just break down stuff when it comes to vocals, and they have warm-ups and techniques. Technique is very
even your
important.
posture singing, how you stand, how you breathe. Like I've learned
all of that's important, because if you do it wrong, then you're gonna be done.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be able to do too much after like 2 days, or after a day, and that's it. So.
This is music production, so nerdy questions coming. What's the vocal mic for you that you like on your voice?
I love the AT Audio-Technica 4050.
Yeah,
that is probably my favorite one.
Yeah,
I've used some other ones like this one, the SM7B. This is another one. It's a great one.
Some singers make this sound great, but
you can't go. I feel like this complements my voice pretty well. But when it comes to like, I guess like studio recording, is definitely
4050.
The 4050.
That's a great mic.
Yeah.
What's your pre? Not to give away all your secrets. What do you like? What hardware, or do you not care?
I mean, honestly, you can't go wrong with the Focusrite. It does its job.
No, listen, don't sleep on the ISA. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Yep.
But I've tried the Avalon, and it doesn't sound too bad on going through vocals going through that.
Okay.
Yeah, that would probably be another preamp outside of that.
And then once I know you work with a lot of different people on your stuff and your mixing and your master and everything, but is there like, if there was one plugin that you like have to have for not necessarily your vocal, but like what's something you always are reaching for like a plugin wise?
I'm always reaching.
Could be anything. Could be an instrument. Could be.
I think I'm always reaching for the Fab Filter Pro Q3.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I like that plugin a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I know like EQ is an EQ, and you can kind of like do it with even the stock plugins, but I don't know. It's just something about that plugin.
Yeah, I mean, that's
one plugin I'm always reaching for.
Me too. I'm trying to think. I mean, like, I need that. Yeah, I need that EQ.
Yeah.
I need that EQ. It's so flexible and so usable, And then what about like? So we talked about hardware. We talked about microphone. Is there one thing you find yourself doing on every mix, like a certain technique that you always end up kind of doing? It could be
vocal technique,
anything. Like it could be a mixing tip, could be a mastering thing, could be like oh, I always like to use this piano sound, or I don't know. Is there like a thing that's part of the Zaire template that like you like?
I do like the Valhalla reverb.
I'm not trying to give away all your, but which one? Which Valhalla though?
Oh, the vintage Valhalla.
Oh, vintage. Yeah. Is that the vintage Hall or place? I don't even remember.
It's like the classic one, like they have like the 1980s.
Okay.
I always like that. I think it does well on majority of the stuff that I do or have done.
Nice. I know live when you did that your like the festival last semester. I was kind of blown away by how cinematic I don't know if they were originals or if you were doing. Well, you had that set. Yeah, you had your set at that festival.
Oh, those were all originals.
Yeah, they're so cinematic and kind of.
Really?
Yeah, right. I thought. You don't think so?
I never really paid attention to it like that. But it's funny.
Man, I thought it was like kind of
cool.
There was like every song had this like journey and yeah, I don't know. I can't wait to hear those finished, I guess, if they're not already finished. But
Well, the last one that I did wasn't finished, but now it is.
okay, yeah.
That was the one that I just dropped. But the other songs are out.
Oh, they are? Okay, I gotta make sure
Yeah.
to check those out again though. But
Those-
live, or maybe just live, it came
Yeah,
across as
live
even
is
more
different.
cinematic.
And I
but-
love live. Like that's something also I've just gravitated towards over the past years is live performance.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
nothing beats that. I don't know.
yeah. No, I agree.
I just love
It's
it.
such a different thing.
It is.
Studio versus live is very different things. And yeah. When you're writing, how do you write? Like, are you at a piano or are you just like on your phone singing? Like, what do you? How do
I
you write?
used to do that. Like
Okay.
growing up, I used to play the piano, always be at a piano when creating music. I think when I came here and I got around other, artists and creatives, people who do make music as well. I think because I was in a dorm and stuff, I wasn't able to just be by myself all the time. I started to then use like my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for me, when it comes to writing, if I have the music first,
Mm-hmm.
I always come up with the melody.
Mm.
Like I mean, I have no words, but I will hum a melody and then just hum it as much as I can, whether if it's for a chorus or for a verse. And I would just record that sometimes, and then I would go back and put words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's rare that I get words first. That's just for me. Like I have done that before, but most of the time I get melodies first.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm similar. I'll write down words that I like phrases or something, but like then I'll try to work it into the melody afterwards. Nice. So we got these. So you're in grad school.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Oh man, that's something I decided to do when I was my first year working here.
Yeah.
It was like the second semester. I don't know. It was weird. It was like I was talking to some people, and then they were just kind of like brought it up, and they was like, you ever thought about it? And I was like, no, I'm not thinking about it. Because when I graduated from undergrad, I was not thinking about going back to school.
Yeah. You want to be done.
I was like, no. And the fact that I'm in school for business, which I probably always dread, like in my whole life, just the thought of business, I'm like, that's not for me. I like music. I don't know anything to do with that. But somehow I'm here. Like I'm almost done. I have 1 year left.
That's amazing.
It's been a 3-year journey, but it is definitely, I know it's going to be worth it in the end.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. And just, keeping myself busy. I'm glad I did this because sometimes when I first graduated, I was like, oh, this is weird, not having to do anything. But I almost felt like too bored. But I think going back to school did give me like something to like work for and get up in the morning to do and think about. And but like I said, I know it's gonna be all worth it. I'm in school for marketing. I'm getting my MBA in marketing. That's the concentration. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much, and it's been so cool.
I see. I think a lot of ways it's gonna have a positive effect on your music journey. Do you see that way too?
Yeah.
Do you see that way?
I believe it already has. Like I've learned so much from the classes and then my internships that I've done because of the I'm in this in school again. I've learned so much to how to translate that right into the music, even though it's just business marketing. It's general business marketing, but marketing
music business
is marketing.
Is sales, right? It's marketing and sales. It's thing. And we, including myself, I'm sure the students listening too, we all dread the business side. But if you can just stomach 5-10% of it, a little bit of it, it will help your career so much.
Especially because of the independent way people are going. It's important. Like,
I remember when you were talking about doing it, and I think, I don't know if you remember this conversation, but I was like, yes, you have to do it. Like, do this, because the time, already 3 years has flown by, right? And like 1 more year is nothing. And then you'll be, under 30 years old with a master's degree. That is a super good achievement. Like, that's an amazing thing that a lot of people want to go back to school and get a master's later, and you always think you're going to have more time. You never have more time later. So getting it done now you're going to be so happy. We're gonna have this conversation in 5 years, 10 years. You're gonna be like, yeah, I can't imagine being in school right now.
Yeah.
Like if you're, I'm 37 now, so I literally can't imagine like having to take grad school classes right now. It's just like I don't know when I would fit it in, So the fact that you're doing it now is amazing, and I applaud you for juggling many, many things. We always joke that you're one of the busiest people here because. Every time I see you're here on days you're off, you're here doing other things, you're in school, you're always doing something, and you always have such a positive attitude too. So it's inspiration to be around, my friend.
I appreciate that.
Last question we'd like to wrap up with is for the first year students, or not even necessarily the first year students, but somebody coming into music. They could be 70 years old wanting to get into music, so it's not an age thing. But what's the first thing you would kind of, if someone asked you, like, I'm trying to get into music, or my friend's trying to get into music, what type of advice would you give that person?
I would give them advice. Don't be upset or afraid to change the way you may think of what your career is going into. Like, you may have your mind first on being an artist, and then like 2 years down the line, you're like, nah, I don't really want to do this. I think I want to be an audio technician. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe I want to run the board and do live sound. Like don't be afraid to having one thing and then going into 3 other different things later down the line. And who's to say that you can't do them all at the same time? No one said that you only had to be one thing. You only have to be an artist. You only have to be a songwriter. You only have to be an audio producer or an engineer or a mixer. Like, you do it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
and you kind of have to do it all in a lot of cases.
You do. It will help you.
Yeah.
But that would be my advice.
I think that's great advice. Amazing advice. No one's journey is exactly like, and if you ask the biggest stars in the world, they're not going to tell you their journey. It's always going to be different than you think it's going to be. I mean, I remember students came here that were full-time drummers. Mm-hmm. Full-time drummers. Mm-hmm. That's all they were ever going to do. And by the time they left, they quit drums and they were acoustic engineers, like just designing studios, like acoustics or whatever. There's always different things, that are going to inspire you. And, it's a business by the time you're done too. You need to figure out ways to generate income, right? Your skill set in audio as on the production side, enables you to work here and to work for other people and engineer other people. You're an amazing singer, but that's a different skill as far as being employed. It's like, but that's amazing.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean I'm just sorry, but
and
it doesn't mean that you're like you failed or it didn't work out. That just means that there's more. Like, you don't have to limit yourself in life when it comes to career, when it comes to your giftings and things like that. Like, there's no limit. Mm-hmm. So that would be my advice, to do everything. Like, who said that there's rules to this?
Yeah. There's not. You're right. Amazing. Thank you so much, Zaire, for
Thank you.
Anything else to add or think about?
No. Like,
awesome. I appreciate you talking with us.
And collaboration. That would be my other thing.
That's one too.
Collaboration is one thing that I definitely didn't do my freshman year. At first, I thought I could do it on my own, but let me tell you, if you get in the studio with 3 other people who have the same goal in mind, who also can write and sing and produce and play instruments, you'll come out with masterpieces. I promise you.
You gotta lighten the load. That's what if you have even just 2 people in a room, one, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
When it's clicking and working. That I don't care what genre it is.
Yeah.
If you're clicking, making music, it's like there's such a good feeling to do that. And then when you can share that with people, that's amazing. And then it lightens the load.
Yes, it does.
The alone music is lonely. It's like when you're collaborating with people, it's an amazing thing. So do that. Collaborate today. Thanks, Zaire. You're the best.